There are 6 money mistakes that I've made in the past years when I was much younger that I would like to share with you guys today so that you don't make the same mistakes as I did. I honestly wish that I had someone, guiding me so that I don't make these mistakes, because honestly, most of these mistakes is because no one was there to tell me what to do, what not to do, what am I doing wrong. Like, no one was literally there to guide me and make sure I'm doing everything right. So this is my opportunity to share from what I've made mistakes in, and hopefully you'll be able to take 1 or 2 lessons from this and avoid these mistakes that I did, especially if you're still very young. You want to leverage on this as early as possible. If you're new on this channel, hi, my name is Chioma, and on this channel I share different money tips that I've learned over the years, and basically just guiding you through my journey of mastering money. So if you're on the journey of learning what and what not to do with money, then you might want to stick around on this channel and maybe subscribe, because I'm going to be releasing videos every week to make sure that I am keeping you guys updated on what I've learned and the secrets around mastering your money towards building financial wealth. That's the goal. That's my goal. So if that's your goal too, then you want to stick around, and let's just dive right in. The number one mistake that I have made, that I'll honestly be truthful about, is when I was much younger, I spent a lot of money on material stuff just because of status. You want to keep on the trends with your friends, you want to drive the latest cars, you want to have the latest gadgets, and it's almost like a competition. And I found that I was always digging into my pocket. Well, as at then, I didn't know that it was for the wrong reason. But as I got much older, I realized that like actually no one cares like if I have the latest gadget, or no one cares like what car I'm driving. So honestly, like, I learned it the hard way, because I ended up spending all my hard-earned money on liabilities instead of focusing on investing in assets or investing in myself or in education, upskilling. This is one of the biggest mistakes that I did when I was younger that I totally regret today, because I know how much I wasted on material things that didn't really matter. Like, no one really cared. Obviously, like, you're just trying to keep on trend with probably your friends, but the truth is that no one cares what you're driving, no one cares what phone you're using, no one cares what model of laptop or model of computer you're using, or what model of camera you're using. As long as it's getting the job done, that's literally like what you should be focusing on, and what I should have been focusing on back then. Like, now I know better. So basically, like, there's nothing wrong with having the latest iPhone, but if you cannot afford it, or basically if you cannot buy that item 2 times. So if the latest iPhone is $1,000, if you cannot buy that phone 2 times, like, you cannot bring out $2,000 to buy that same iPhone, for instance, then I wouldn't do that. I would rather spend that $1,000 and maybe invest it in learning a new skill, or investing it in, the stock market. Yeah, I know many people are, skeptical about the stock market because it goes up and down. But yeah, you have to do a lot of research if you want to go into the investing world. The second biggest money mistake that I made when I was much younger is not signing up for my company's RSP matching well in advance or early enough. The earlier you start, the better, because the money grows over the years. It's all about compound interest. If you know what compound interest means, it's totally different from saving. Basically, your money remains the same 10 years from now if you save exactly the same amount. But with investment, it compounds on top of each other. It just keeps compounding, and in 10 years, it would have compounded it a lot, and it's definitely going to be more than what you would have had if you were just saving. Companies do offer it, so I did not know at the time, because obviously it's not like they market it to you when they recruit you, so I wasn't informed about that. Maybe because they don't want to pressure people to do that, like, it's not compulsory, right? But it's, if you want to be like on top of your money game, and if you want to like level up your finances, that would be a very smart decision. And obviously, like, no one was there to guide me, so I didn't make that decision on time. It was later on, like, I found out that, oh, so I can literally like do this. Like, I didn't know I could do this, So then I started asking questions, and then they were giving me information, and I was like, okay, where can I sign up? And then I signed up. But obviously, like, I feel like it was already late, but like, better late than never, right? If you're watching this and you're still very young, make sure to check with your company if you're working with a company, and check if they have the RRSP matching for you. So if you're a Canada resident, it's called RRSP matching. If you're a US resident, it's called 401k matching. So depending on your country or where you're from, just check what the equivalent is, and speak to your company about it, and they'll probably, like, if it's not called 401k, or if it's not called RSP matching, they'll basically just know what you mean and tell you what the equivalent is and give you more information. But this is something that you definitely want to start on time, and obviously ask a lot of questions about how it works, so that you go into it with a lot of knowledge instead of just registering because you want to register, right? You want to know what it entails, and they're happy to give you more information, but you just have to know the right questions to ask, because if you don't ask the right questions, you won't get exactly what you want, right? So that was another one that I definitely learned from the hard way. The third one is my shopping was definitely out of control. When I was much younger, I realized that like I was always shopping. I didn't have a budget. I didn't have anything in place to say, okay, this is where my money is gonna go and this is gonna be set aside. Like I didn't like know how to automate my savings, or I didn't even know what it meant, or I didn't even care about it. So I was just like spending out of control, just basically impulsively buying things that I actually like didn't need. If I had known back then the meaning of budgeting and the essence of building financial freedom early enough, I would have definitely reduced my spending habits, because most of the things I bought, they are literally things that I've actually never used up until this very day. Like you can mention it, clothes, shoes, bags. I just was like shopping without control. Any income I make, I'm like, okay, what do we buy next? But that's not what you should be doing. You should be asking yourself, okay, you have an income. What am I putting towards myself? Like right now, that's my thinking process. When I have an income, the first thing is, okay, I need to pay my future self first. That's my first thought process. That's how it ought to be. Not when you receive your income, you're like, oh, there's this Fashion Nova dress that has been on sale. It's time to go and buy it, without actually like planning your money first. So that's something that I definitely learned from. I wouldn't like recommend like impulsive buying, but that doesn't mean that you don't buy what you want. You shouldn't rush into buying your wants or your desires first. That's not the first thing you do when you receive your income. In my previous video, I also spoke in depth on what you should do on every payday, and you can definitely check it out. I'm gonna link it somewhere up here or in the description below on what you should do on every payday, so that you're maximizing your income to its full potential. With what I know today, I would definitely like prioritize budgeting first over like just impulsively buying things. Another money mistake that I made, this one might seem controversial, but going out every night, going to lounges every Friday night or every weekend, or going to one concert or the other, like every Friday, like why would I do that to myself? Today when I look back, I'm like, why did I do that to myself? Why would I do that to myself? You shouldn't be, or rather I shouldn't have been going out every Friday night, because that was definitely like eating into my pocket. And okay, yes, I had money, because for someone to be going out every Friday, they have, you know, income that they're making, right? So going out every Friday night is not something that I'm proud of, because I know that looking back, I'm like, I, I regret those like every Friday night outing. So definitely like eating into my pocket, and thereby made me not to have any savings or even know what saving meant. Buying junk every now and then, buying drinks, just to have that feeling of like living your life. It's not really living your life, because you're only eating out of your pocket, and that's not very smart. Um, Especially like if you're doing it very frequently, like if you're doing it every weekend or every, I don't know, every day, then trust me, like it's definitely gonna be eating hard into your pocket. Um, so that's definitely something that, looking back on, I regret doing that. Because it made me, not have any savings. It made me to be always broke and always complaining that I'm broke. The reason I was broke was because I was thinking I was living life. Meanwhile, I was just careless with my money, and I had this delusion that I was living life, which was totally false. I wasn't living life. I was very careless with my money. That's what it was. So that's something I've definitely like learned from over the years. Another money mistake that I've definitely learned from is not contributing to my TFSC account, that's the tax free savings account, and first home savings account. So if you live in Canada and you don't already know that putting your money into your tax-free savings account, or if first home savings account, is going to save you a lot on your taxes. So what that simply means is that every year during tax filing, you literally declare that you put in this amount of money into your tax-free savings account, and the contribution limit is usually, I think it's $7,000 or $8,000. You can definitely like double check that. But let's say you put in $7,000 in your tax-free savings account. I mean, it's still your account. It's just that, as the word implies, tax-free. So what that means is that during tax filing the following year, you get to declare that, and you get a tax refund on those contributions you made. So basically, that portion will not be counted as part of your income tax. It will be deducted. So if you were earning 100K, it will just do 100,000 minus $7,000, you'll only be taxed the 93,000 portion and not the remaining 7,000 portion that you put into the tax-free savings account. That one will not be taxed, and during tax filing, you'll get a refund for that. That's something I missed out on much earlier. I should have started doing that as soon as I came into Canada, but I did not know about it. I did not understand it. I did not even bother caring or anything. And yeah, no one was there to like guide me and like explain it to me of what I could be potentially losing. So I was just careless about it. So I did not put in any money in my tax savings account in 2024. During my tax filing in 2025, I was definitely full of regrets. So yeah, because I recently moved into Canada in 2023. So basically I wasted all of my 2024. I did not take that step of putting money into my tax-free savings account or my first home savings account. So this year I did not get to claim any money from my tax filing with regards to the um tax free savings account and first home savings account. So this is something I definitely like looking back on. I definitely like regret and wish I had definitely started early. So this is something that I wish someone told me. Another money lesson that I learned is not keeping receipts. I definitely learned it the hard way because this is also in relation to like tax filing. During tax filing, if you want to claim, medical expenses, out of pocket medical expenses, that were not covered by any form of insurance, if you want to claim that, they will always ask you for your receipts. Also, with work expenses, like maybe if you needed to take like a licensing exam and you paid out of pocket for a particular company. So let's say you're working with a company and you had to take a licensing exam, to obscure yourself. You can definitely like claim that during tax filing, but you obviously need your receipts. In order to file for that, you cannot like be guessing. You need like actual figures. So this is where you need your receipts. This is something I definitely learned from the hard way, because if you're someone that is like, oh, you don't care about receipts and you're always trashing your receipts, this was me like way back. And I've definitely learned the hard way by, obviously I didn't have some of the receipts that they asked for during my tax filing. So I didn't get to file for those, receipts that I didn't have. I lost out on that opportunity to, get money back on my taxes. But yeah, like since then, like I always make sure to keep my receipts. Anything that I know that is going to be filed during taxes, I make sure to keep my receipts. I now have a place where I keep all my receipts so that I'm always ready when it's time to file taxes. So that's another thing that I learned the hard way. This video is supposed to be very short, so that's it for today. If you learned something from this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe and share with your loved ones so that they can learn something new today. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye.